Welcome to the Ingram Warriors YouTube channel, and a big week right here coming up here for the Ingram Warriors. But we want to talk about some of the things. We're joined here right now by athletic director and head coach of the Ingram Warriors, Tate Damasco. Coach, man, this is it right here.
Yeah, it is. It is. I appreciate you coming, and we've had a good 3 weeks, and this week we're going to get to have a little. We're going to beat by because we're open this week, get a little healthy, and get ready to start rolling in the district.
You had some bounce back. I mean, where things could have gone either way in your very first game of the year, but you bounced back on the Highway 27 rivalry, shutting out Comfort. I mean, talk about that because that's kind of how it got you rolling, that shutout and the way your defense played.
Oh, no doubt. It's like we talked about as a staff, we wish we could play the first one over. When you turn the ball over 6 times, you don't give yourself a very good chance of winning. And so we knew if we could take care of the football that we would be in a good shape against Comfort. And, they were explosive on offense. We were scared to death all week. We felt like we could move the ball against them and take advantage of a couple things they were doing. And we had some success moving the ball, but the defensive play that night was outstanding. And all it has done is kind of moved us forward into Harper. And then last week, you're playing San Angelo TLCA, and they're an explosive offense, and we were worried. And so, going all the way back to that Comfort game, I guess I didn't realize how big a game it is until after the game,
Yeah.
And, they escorted us in with the fire trucks from the Ingram Volunteer Fire Department. So I kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
But, hats off to our defensive staff, Coach Marbach, Coach Brackeen, Coach Laura, Coach Beadle. And even Coach Hinton helps out over there. They came up with an awesome plan that first week against Comfort and was able to neutralize the running game and then create some turnovers and hold them down in the passing game a little bit. So, that kind of springboarded us on where we're at.
Yeah, they were kind of deep in your territory there, looking like they were getting ready to score. And all of a sudden, Kai Hightower makes a big, huge hit, right there to cause some issues.
Right.
And then your defensive line they were from blitzes all the way to containing the outside corners like they like to run. Coach Marbach and that defensive crew there, just talk about how important it is for you to have a crew like that you can just rely on and just kind of let them do their thing.
Right. Obviously, when you're trying to build a program, you want to build around defense. We want to play good, sound defense, and our goal on defense is to not give up big plays, make them have to drive, and right, wrong, or indifferent. If you look at a lot of high school teams, they're not built to continue to move down the field. So if you can take away explosive plays, we think we have a good chance of being in the game in the fourth quarter. But, it starts up front with those 3 guys that play down, Alex Duckworth and Caleb Pritt and Curtis Wampler, and we rotate in Tommy Tucker and Andrew Lamone and a couple other kids, and it starts with them. They are physical, and they get after it up front and cause some chaos, which, allows some other people to make some plays.
And when you said, the big plays and explosive plays, you go into Harper, taking on a team that can throw the ball, not only throw the ball, but they love to run the ball, and yet your defense steps up once again, sacks like crazy, and then a couple of big, turnovers that created points. That's game 2 now for your win. Talk about now how you're rolling from there and what you're building off from that.
Obviously, we have a lot of respect for Harper and I have a lot of respect for what Chad does. No different than Brandon and Comfort. And, I think our kids started developing some confidence after Comfort. You could kind of see it in the way they prepared for the Harper game. And it took us a while to get going. You come out of that big win and it was a little flat. And we had some opportunities in the first quarter. We snapped the ball 4 times inside the 20, didn't get a point. Our defense created a couple turnovers early, and we didn't capitalize. And last year when somebody would score first, it was kind of like, come on guys, hold your head up. It's like somebody needs to score first against us this year to be like, okay, y'all want to play, let's play. Mm-hmm. And so it seemed like it kind of calmed us down, and we figured out a couple things offensively, formationally wise to be able to take advantage of some of the stuff they were doing defensively. And then starting about the middle of the third quarter, it just took off. And, it hadn't slowed down yet. So hopefully we can keep that trend going.
And last week, San Angelo TLCA comes walking in. And, a team, again, they've had some big wins. They had some close losses,
right.
But it was a team that you don't know which way it's going to go. Didn't matter. You come in and there's that. All of a sudden, now you're in a game. in a true real game situation. And talk about where you overcame that closeness to spread it out 10 points and to get that win.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at who San Angelo TLC had beaten, TLCA beaten coming in and beaten Ozona, which is normally a really good program, and Winners, which is a good program. And so we were really concerned about the speed they had on the outside, and we knew if we could contain the deep throws that, we'd give ourselves a really good chance. And so, it kind of started a little bit like the Stockdale game. They moved the ball down the field, we got the ball, and we fumbled. We fumbled on our first two possessions on offense, and to our kids' credit, it didn't go, here we go again. It was like, we got to fix this. And so we, they went down and scored, and it was like, okay, y'all going to score? Here we go. And so it kind of took off in the middle of the second quarter and didn't stop. And one of the things, JR, is, and you were at the Comfort game, we're doing a really good job of possessing the ball. And so, we came out after halftime with an 18-8 lead, and they did a surprise onside and got it. And they went 3 and out, and they kicked us the ball, and we proceeded to hold it for a majority of the third quarter and went, 85 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And so we're starting to kind of get in that, what my philosophy is kind of ground and pound it and then take shots over the top whenever it's time to take shots. And we're kind of starting to see that kind of showing up now. And so, everywhere I've ever been, we're a pretty run-heavy team, but we have some guys on the outside we want to get the ball to. And so we're starting being physical up front and understanding where we're blocking. And, we've gotten some crazy-looking defenses here the last couple of weeks, but our kids have handled it. And, I can't say enough about the guys up front. And some kind of lights clicked on Hightower because he is hitting it and running. And he is starting to finish runs. So hopefully that'll continue too.
Speaking of Kai Hightower, last week, the O-line opening up some holes that he was just running through like there's no tomorrow. So now you got that combination, but talk about how Kai Hightower was an important, aspect or asset for last week's game.
Yeah, I mean, he is something like, we like to call him like a Swiss Army knife. We move him everywhere. We don't want to leave him in the same spot to where they get a beat on him. We'll line him up at inside receiver. We'll line him up outside receiver. We'll line him up at tailback. A couple times this week we line him up at a wing setter. And throw him the ball and got him the ball different ways. But in my opinion, he's the best player in the Hill Country. I think any high school around here would take him and use him, and he'd be a productive piece. But, yeah, the last 2 weeks he's starting to carry the workload. I think he had 26 carries last week, and he had right around that against Harper, and he's starting to get stronger as he goes. And so that is an attribute of a great tailback because he's starting to really finish runs and becoming better in the third and fourth quarter, which is exactly what we need to close out some games.
Open week this week. Talk about the open week and how are you going to utilize this open week to get ready for San Antonio Cole Open Up District?
Yeah, so we gave the kids off, but we watched the video from Friday night. We gave them the weekend off. Watched the video from Friday night during the athletic period and then lifted after school. And I actually took the middle school quarterbacks out to do some work today after school. But we'll work out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday a little bit. And it's a little bit of time to work on us. Skills-wise, balls, handling, things like that. We have had a tendency to put the ball on the ground, so we're going to focus on that this week, tackling. And then slowly towards the end of the week, probably a little bit of late Wednesday, Thursday, we'll start getting with Cole. We'll get video on them tomorrow, and we'll start kind of implementing what we're going to do there. And then Friday, we're all dispersing to scout different places. So, it was a good time for it. We're in really good shape health-wise, but it's a good time to take a breath after 7 straight weeks and then 6 and hopefully a couple more when we get done.
San Antonio Cole went into Bandera, gave him a little bit of fits. Bandera ended up winning that game. But their passing attack to their opening up their running, just defensively, I know it's kind of a little early, but just to kind of prepare for that defensive stand against a team like Cole who just speed.
Yeah. So actually, I've known Coach Kissy for a while. Coach Kissy was the defensive coordinator at Jay when I was at Brandeis, so we actually played against each other, so we're familiar with each other. And I had a good conversation with him on the phone today. They're explosive. They've got a couple wideouts that can really run. The quarterback can run pretty big on the offensive line, and are physical and they're sound at what they do. They haven't had a lot of things work out their way this year yet, with fumbles and things like that. And our job next Friday night is not to create those and give them those opportunities they haven't had. But, yeah, I mean, obviously the first thing when you put on the tape is the speed jumps out at you, and we've got to figure out a way to neutralize that and put our kids in a good position to be successful next Friday night.
So we got with the football. So talk about the community, because right now it's like the community is one just ready to explode with more wins, and they're starting to pack the house. What about the businesses? I'm seeing more Ingram flags everywhere, but just to get them to maybe paint the town a little bit.
Right, and I've had a lot of calls on the flags, and we've got to get some more ordered. But
I can't come get mine.
But it's like I've told our kids since the day I walked in here. This community's hungry for a winner. And not just in football, but in everything. Mm-hmm. And, last Friday after the game, I actually talked to the football and the volleyball girls. The volleyball girls have done a great job supporting us on the sidelines throughout the game. I pulled them up to when I talked to everybody. And, one of the last things I talked to those teams about after this summer camp was we're in this together. If volleyball loses, we lose. Mm-hmm. If football loses, you lose. We're all in this together. And I'm starting to see that kind of change in the atmosphere here at school is changing, and the people in town are starting to get excited. I was eating yesterday with my son in Kerrville, and I heard a guy say, "Well, I need to go check out Ingram." My son's kind of hit me going, "Hey, listen, no, don't listen, just keep eating." So yeah, I mean, the support out here has been. I don't want to use the word surprise, but there is a lot of people that are pouring a lot of things into this school. I can't thank them enough. And so hopefully we're kind of moving in the right direction where, our goal is to be Wall or Navarro, in the next 5 years, where we're good at everything and very competitive and high academic school. And, that's what we're shooting for.
As the athletic director, I mean, you're almost right there. You look at your tennis, in tennis, how dominant tennis has been, and you keep that program going cross country. Coach Morales and both sides. And now, with your volleyball, they got that start from, last year, and all of a sudden now they just keep rolling. And then, of course, when you look at baseball and softball, starting to rise up and everything, right. Almost there. But talk about just, as you're talking about a family, talk about the family.
Right. And so, I always tell my coaches, if you can walk into the elementary school and those kids don't know your name, then they don't know who you are. That's not a good thing. And I always spent some time down at the elementary school. I can't walk 3 feet without somebody hollering at me. But we're close. I don't want to say we're there. We're close. I think we have arguably the best staff in the Hill Country when you talk about female and male side. Mm-hmm. I'd put them up against anybody. And they're all in it for the right reasons, and we're all working towards the same goal.
Right.
And there's no, this team this team that. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. Everybody's for one another. I know we're fixing to start some team dinners where one night cross country is going to eat with football.
Yeah.
Football's going to eat with volleyball.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of work that, those scenarios to where, we're all one. Mm-hmm. And if you do good, I do good. If you don't do good, I don't do good. And I think you're starting to see that for so long they were beat down and told they weren't any good. Well, now they're starting to be told, hey, and it's a tribute to the kids. The kids have bought in, and the kids are the ones that are setting the tone. It's nothing special I've done or any of our coaches done, but it's just a new way of looking at things, and the kids have embraced it. And I couldn't be any happier than what a bunch of our coaches have done here this past year.
It's like what you're saying. I've seen pictures of just almost a jam-packed crowd with the athletes there to support volleyball.
Right.
I've seen some pictures and stuff where just even here where it's just jam-packed, and you see where all the athletes, you got your bleachers, people are starting up and things. But and now with baseball, basketball, and you got the Fierros, combination where they feed off of each other, but yet now they're, see how the team sport really is on all sides. You're coaching with basketball, with the Fierros, and now with your baseball and softball. And I know that's up and coming, but that's still part of the athletic program.
Right.
How important is it for them to build and get into what you're wanting to do as an athletic
Right.
family.
And the thing about Fierro's is, I mean, heck, the other day I was mad at a call last Friday night that the referee did, and I'm walking through the end zone. She's sitting down there in her chair, and she's like, "Yeah, get over it. It's over. I thought I was gonna have to come get you and tell you, let's go. We gotta go." And so I love Jessica and Ray. They sit in the end zone every game and cheer us on, and they're building something too. And my job is to support them and give them what they need, and get our kids out to support them and when they're playing. And same thing with baseball and softball. We started getting crowds there towards the end, and I'm looking forward to that being really successful in those two sports. But we had a good turnout out here Saturday for cross country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had volleyball out here helping, and different football players out here helping, and so the buy-in from the community has been awesome, and it's a tribute to these coaches because they're preaching it every day. Hey, we're all in this together, and I think we're starting to figure that out.
I've been told conditioning, stamina conditioning is what you really thrive on. So talk about your workouts and the different styles, because you don't hear too many kids that say, or even players that say, we needed that.
Right.
And you hear that from your athletes.
Yeah.
Talk about your conditioning, the style, and what you expect out of that.
Yeah, I mean, we practice at a pretty good pace. One thing I figured out, and Coach Hinton's helped me with this, is we're getting done what we got done at Reagan in 20 periods. We're getting it done in 12 here. Not as many kids, and we're getting them done in 4-minute periods. And so what you're seeing is the trade-off is to the kids is, all right, if we work and we move at a fast pace, we can get done in 48 minutes what we could get done in 65.
Yeah.
You tell me, you want to be out here the extra 17 minutes, or you want to get it done right now? And so, we do push them. We're snapping the ball pretty quick, and it gives us the flexibility in games. I mean, you've had some of our games. Sometimes we bust a long run or a pass. We'll go down there and snap it quick, and then sometimes we'll sit on it. And we work those different scenarios in practice so that they kind of understand what we do. Condition, and Adam Brackeen and Joel Hinton do a great job in the weight room, putting together the programs and for each week and how we're going to attack each week so that when we get to Friday night, we're ready to go.
I tell you, it's awesome to see, just the community. It's always an honor just to even talk to you. Is there anything that you want to say or anything like that? I mean, as far as,
Yeah, I mean, I like going back to what we talked about earlier. I can't thank the community enough. I mean, this thing was packed the other night. We had people hanging on the fence. I'm anticipating first district game. I don't think we've won a district game here in 4 or 5 years. So we're ready to check that off next Friday night, and we're going to need the help and support of the community to get that done. And it was loud the other night, and I don't want to use the word rowdy, but it was getting pretty close to being rowdy up there.
Yeah.
And we got a student section going now, and so all these things are starting to happen. And I just want to tell everybody thank you and appreciate what y'all have done. And we got a big volleyball game Friday night against Llano. They open district tomorrow night in Florence, and then here in Llano. If you can get out here and let's support the girls, and just thanks everybody.
A couple 3 questions from people, so I wanted to ask real quickly. So here's question number 1: is that volleyball starts earlier than football. Do you have a 2-ticket way for football and volleyball? Meaning,
if they come to the volleyball game, can they get in the football game too?
Or a big deal, a little price, like if it's $5 to get in, can they do it for $8? Something
It's
like
a good
that.
question, and I can't answer that right now, but I can look into it. How about that?
All right.
Okay,
That's a good one.
definitely look into that.
Ingram has been known for the tailgates. Can we bring the tailgate parties back on home games?
I'd love to have the tailgates out. In fact, I think October 28th against Blanco, we are putting together a school tailgate, and it's going to be with our trunk or treat. I believe we're going to have the kids can come by and they'll have different spots set up for the tailgate, but they can also trick or treat. I think that's the Blanco game, but if there'd be nothing more excited than I'd be at 5:30 when I walk out there for receivers and quarterbacks to run some routes. If I look out here and we got a tailgate going on, I'd love it.
That's awesome. We were involved in the tailgate years ago and everything. It's just going out there, trying all the different foods,
Right.
From everybody. And them, they can cook, barbecue.
Let's get it going.
Yeah, dude, the flags are flying. And, of course, we'll talk about the music there. Too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Let's see. You already talked about that. So the big thing is, there's two more questions. What did you tell your team at halftime last week?
Did Harper?
No, last week, TLC.
Well, to give you the nice version, for so long out here, there's been everybody that tells them they can't do something. And so our motto last week was take receipts. Because the people that don't believe in us, you're getting a receipt. You're not getting your money back. And so that was the message at halftime. It's time to take the receipts, and all these people that don't believe in us and we can't get it done, we're fixing to go out here and get this thing done. And that's the nice version about how it was. And so they responded well. But, that was basically it.
Awesome. Final question right here. All sports pass. Do you have an all home game sports pass?
We do not. But, again, that is something I can look into before district football starts. I do know we have a round ball pass with a $50 membership to the Booster Club. You get a round ball pass that gets you into basketball, volleyball, and softball and baseball. So that's an avenue you can go, and then we can look on the all sports pass. I don't know if I can get it done this year, but I'll make sure I have it done next year.
I tell you what, that is awesome, man. Good things happening in Ingram. So, just keep checking in here to your Ingram Warriors YouTube channel. I'll tell you what, weekly thing. So, yeah. And we'll have questions all through the football. Anything that's participating with the cross country, water polo. Oh, wait, no water polo yet, but you never know. Well, Coach, one final word for the fans of Ingram and the athletics and the whole school.
Well, we're got this thing going in the right direction. We need everybody to get on board, support these kids, and let's paint this stadium red next week and Friday night for the volleyball game. And it's time to get this district losing streak over with, and we're planning on doing it next week.
All right, Coach Damasco.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Till next time, we out.